Pripyat, once the pride of the Soviet Union, is today one of the most haunting places on Earth. Built in 1972, housed the workers of the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant and their families. The city was designed as a model of modernity. Wide boulevards, high-rise apartments, cultural centers, and sports facilities gave Pripyat the appearance of a youthful and optimistic town. By 1986, nearly 50,000 people lived here, most of them young, most of them believing in a future that would never come. On April 26, 1986, that future ended. The explosion of Reactor No. 4 at Chernobyl spewed radioactive material into the sky, contaminating the land, the air, and the river. At first, the people of Pripyat knew nothing. They went to work, took their children to school, shopped, laughed, and breathed invisible poison. 36 hours later, the order came: evacuation. Within hours, the bustling city was emptied, abandoned to the birds, the wind, and the creeping silence of radiation. Among the many sights left behind, none has become more iconic, more photographed, or more disturbing than the Pripyat Amusement Park. It was meant to open on May 1st, 1986, in celebration of May Day, a festive occasion for the Soviet state. But the opening never happened. The gates never welcomed families. Instead, the ride stood still as the people fled. Yet one ride has become the symbol of Pripyat's ghostly fate: the yellow Ferris wheel. Its bright cabins still rise above the trees, rusting yet defiant. Over the years, countless visitors have described the sight of this wheel as something more than a ruin. They have called it a reminder of joy that never arrived, of laughter that turned to silence. But some claim the silence was not total. They whisper that, at night, the wheel moves on its own. They speak of laughter carried on the wind, not the laughter of children, but something distorted, deeper, crueler. The story that has taken root is simple and terrifying. The Ferris wheel of Pripyat never stops turning, not in spirit, and when it turns, the voice of a clown can be heard, calling from the shadows of the amusement park. The clown's laughter, it is said, is not a memory but a presence, one that chooses those who dare to approach. The amusement park has become more than a ruin. It has become a legend. And like all legends, it has an origin in the months before. The disaster, the city of Pripyat was preparing for a celebration. The Soviet authorities wanted May 1st, International Workers' Day, to be unforgettable. They ordered the completion of a brand new amusement park in the heart of the city. There would be bumper cars, carnival games, cotton candy stands, and towering above everything else, a brilliant yellow Ferris wheel. For the children of Pripyat, it was a dream to make the opening even more special. A youth circus troupe from Kiev was invited. They were to perform acrobatics, juggling, and clown acts for the crowds. The centerpiece of the performance was a man known as Grigory, the troupe's chief clown. With his painted face, red nose, and exaggerated grin, he was beloved by children. Wherever he went, he had promised to bring joy to Pripyat's young ones. Unaware that fate was about to turn his painted smile into something eternal and horrific, when the reactor exploded, the circus troupe was already in Pripyat. The authorities kept the city calm, hiding the truth. Radiation was in the air, but the performers continued to rehearse for the grand opening scheduled just days away. Families visited the park in secret before evacuation, letting their children climb into the still shiny cabins of the Ferris wheel. The performers, too, gathered there, practicing their routines. But the evacuation order came swiftly. Buses lined up to take residents away. The troop was caught in the chaos. Some fled with the civilians, but others, including children, were left behind. The story told by survivors is grim. In the rush, several young performers and their leader, Grigory the Clown, remained in the amusement park. Confused, perhaps believing the danger exaggerated, they sought shelter in one of the maintenance buildings. By the time soldiers arrived days later, they were gone. Some said they had succumbed to radiation sickness. Others whispered something stranger, that their bodies were never found, that only traces of costumes, toys, and face paint remained near the Ferris wheel. From this moment, the legend was born. The children and their clown had not left. People claimed they had been taken by the wheel itself. Their souls were bound to it, spinning endlessly, waiting for the celebration that never came. Grigory, once a performer who brought joy, was now cursed to laughter that mocked, not delighted. In Soviet times, such stories were dismissed as nonsense, products of fear and grief. Yet the Ferris wheel became an object of fascination, and those who sneaked into the exclusion zone often reported feelings of unease when near it. Dogs barked at the wheel, birds avoided landing on it, and the air seemed to carry whispers. Some swore that at dusk, the silhouette of a clown could be seen among the cabins, motionless but watching. The legend was passed from worker to worker, soldier to soldier, then from local to foreigner as the years went by. It grew, transformed, but its root remained the same. The Ferris wheel was cursed, and the clown had never left. Over the decades, scattered testimonies fueled the fire of the legend. Some were dismissed as tricks of light, others as drunken hallucinations, but each added another layer to the tale of the Ferris wheel that never rests. 1996, the soldiers report, a decade after the disaster, a group of soldiers patrolling the zone claimed they saw the Ferris wheel turning in the night. There was no wind strong enough to move it, yet the cabins creaked as if pulled by invisible hands. One soldier swore he heard children's voices, laughing and crying at once, overlapping until he could not distinguish joy from terror. Another, more shaken, reported that he saw a figure in a clown's costume standing beneath the wheel, motionless, with eyes that reflected light like an animal's. The report was never officially recorded, but whispers of it spread among the guards. 2011, the Polish explorer in April 2011. A Polish urban explorer named Marek traveled into Pripyat with a camera. He returned with photographs that shocked those who saw them. In one image of the Ferris wheel, a shadow seemed to lean out of a cabin. Enlarged, it appeared to be a man with a white-painted face and a dark grin. Marek swore he had been alone. When pressed, he admitted that while he took the photos, he had felt watched, as though someone were pacing just behind him. He left the zone in haste, refusing to return. 2015, the mysterious video. In 2015, a video appeared online, uploaded anonymously. It showed the Ferris wheel at night, filmed with a shaky hand. The cabins moved slowly, impossibly, against the still air. What unsettled viewers most was the audio. Faint, overlapping voices of children, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. In the final seconds of the video, a deeper laughter erupted, harsh and mocking. The camera jolted as if the person filming had run, and then the video ended. Though skeptics claimed it was faked, the origin of the video was never traced. Fragments from a journal among the abandoned apartments of Pripyat, explorers discovered a decayed notebook. Its entries dated back to 1986. One passage read, "The children still rehearse. They are sick, coughing, but the clown tells them to smile. Last night the wheel turned without power. He said it was a sign. They laughed, but I wanted to cry. Another chilling line said, he paints his face at night now, even when no one watches. He said the performance must never end. Taken together, these accounts paint a disturbing picture. The Ferris wheel is more than a ruin, and something of the clown and his children remains, restless and bound to it. In the summer of 2019, a group of young travelers from Spain, France, and Germany entered the exclusion zone illegally. They were adventurers, fascinated by abandoned places and hungry for a unique experience. Among them were cameras, drones, and recording equipment, eager to capture what they called the real Pripyat. Days later, authorities found their equipment, but not the travelers themselves. The cameras lay scattered near the amusement park. The last recordings were terrifying. The final video showed the group standing before the Ferris wheel at dusk. They laughed nervously, making jokes about ghosts. One by one, they climbed into the yellow cabins. The wheel, impossibly, began to move, slow and steady. Their laughter grew uneasy. The camera caught their faces, forced smiles, strained eyes. Then a figure appeared beside them, just within the frame, a clown, tall, painted face gleaming in the fading light. His grin stretched wider than it should have been. The video ended in static. No trace of the group was ever found. Officially, they were listed as missing persons. Unofficially, they became another chapter in the legend of Pripyat. Today, Pripyat remains silent, its streets choked by trees, its buildings collapsing into ruin. Yet the amusement park still stands, the Ferris wheel towering above the city's corpse. For the people of the region, it is more than a relic. It is a warning. Locals avoid the park at night. They claim that the laughter of a clown can still be heard, faint but clear, carried on the wind through the skeletal trees. Some say they have seen the wheel move, its cabins creaking like bones. Others insist the children's shadows play among the rides, vanishing when approached. The story endures because it feels true. A city abandoned in fear, a celebration that never came. Performers who vanished without a trace. Such elements need no invention. The legend of the Ferris wheel and its clown has become part of Pripyat itself. Inseparable from the rusting metal and radioactive soil, visitors are warned. If you walk the empty streets of Pripyat at night, if you dare approach the amusement park, and if the wind carries laughter to your ears, do not linger. Run before the wheel turns its gaze upon you, because once it begins to spin, the clown is never far behind. The Ferris wheel of Pripyat is cursed, and its performance will never end.